That nobody really wants to deal with. Divorce. Oh, if you're going through it, I'm so sorry. And I know sometimes it can get so ugly, but I have to tell you, at the end of the day, it really hurts your children. So if you have children involved, you need to pull back just a little bit, okay? I have an attorney, Randall Kessler, but he represents big folks, okay? I'm sorry, I have to throw out some names. You know, Nene Legs. He's dealing with the issue with Michael Jordan and the mom who said that this is his child, and some stuff is going to be coming out with that. But he's been in the business for a long time. How long have you been out there?
25 years.
25 fantastic years. The name of the firm?
Kessler and Solomiani.
And I told you it's about Ask a Lawyer. So we have the lawyer, and we're going to be dealing with divorce. What do you tell these clients that come in and they raising hell? What do you tell your client?
I tell them I'm really expensive to be a therapist.
Okay.
You don't want to pay me to be a therapist. So I focus on what is it that you want. You know, I shouldn't guess what you want. I might think you want all the money you can get or you want custody, but you may not want all the money you can get. You may just want out. So I try to say, figure out what you really want. Do you want to just be away from this guy and be done with him and you don't care how much money you get? Or could you live with this situation for the next few years while we fight and try to get you every penny we can get? I want to figure out what do you want. And if you know what you want before you come see me, you're ahead of most of my clients.
So how do you deal with it when I have a house involved, cars involved? Maybe the house is not in my name. The mortgage is in his name, but I want to stay in the house. We have 3 vehicles. I want 2 of the vehicles, but I can't pay for them. How do you determine all of that?
That's why we're in business. And that's why we're never going out of business, unfortunately. We parcel it down. We compartmentalize and say, what's priority number 1? You want to be in that house? What if you're going to only get $3,000 a month in support, in child support and alimony, or whatever it may be, and the house costs you $2,500 a month? Do you still want the house? And you might say yes.
No.
See, so that's what we have to figure out. How important is the house? You said you wanted the house, but
you can't afford the house if you're only getting $2,500 a month.
Right. So that's the thing we have to figure out. We do a budget. First thing I'll do is give you a budget and a financial affidavit and say, work on that, see how much money you need, how much money do you think you're going to get, and let's figure out what your life's going to look like post-divorce. If you can start thinking about post-divorce and what it's going to look like in the future instead of how bad it was in the past, then you're moving in the right direction.
How does this also work with the divorce, that if the mom hasn't been working for a while, how long does a gentleman have to pay alimony to her?
You know, we have child support guidelines. We've talked about that before. So there's an analysis that you do for guidelines. There's not a set of guidelines for alimony, not in Georgia. Some states have them. So you look at how long they've been married, what's the disparity in income, how long is it going to take the mom to get back into the workforce, and the judge has to figure all these things out if you can't figure it out yourselves. But generally, if it's a 30-year marriage and you give up working to raise the kids for 30 years, you might be getting alimony for 5, 10, 15 years.
Right.
If it's a 2-year marriage and you've been out of the workforce for 2 years, you might get 6 months, you might get a year, but you know, it just depends on what the assets are. If you're getting $1 million, you may not need alimony. If there's no money in the pot, but he makes a lot of money every year, maybe you'll get a lot of alimony. So there's a lot of things that move and a lot of moving parts.
Now, you might be going through hell right now because divorce is not pretty. And like you said, you got to really sit down and figure out what it is. Typically, when someone comes in for a divorce, I mean, what type of hours are we talking about that you put into the case? And approximately how much does it cost for me to have an attorney represent me?
How long do you have?
Woo! So it can go, I mean, the range.
We've had divorce cases where there's custody involved that have cost $200,000, $300,000, $400,000.
Ooh.
But those are the extreme cases, and you have to have that kind of money to afford those kind of cases. But the average case, if you're going to fight, it's not going to be less than $10,000. If you go to court and you have a decent lawyer, it's going to be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. So that's why you should think ahead of time, what do I really want? What's worth paying money for? Custody, I understand. You can't put a price on custody, but do I really care which car I get? You know, if a car is $5,000 more than his car, I'll give him that car instead of paying my lawyer the $5,000. That's what people should be thinking is, it's worth getting out of this relationship and not spending the money. You know, and
put the anger on the back burner.
That's the problem. Some people are so angry that they'd rather pay me than give the money to their spouse. They say, I'm so mad at him, I want you to go drag him through the ringer.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is our divorce attorney, and he covers all family law. His name is Randall Kessler. Your phone number?
404-688-8810.
It's Ask Our Lawyer. See ya.